everybody, it's me, Shawla360, and I'm here with our talk about the first two episodes of She Was Pretty. And I decided rather than doing like a recap of the entire first two episodes, I'm just going to talk about things I like, things I don't like, things that struck me. And if you've watched the show, you should be able to get it. And spoiler alert, I might talk about stuff that if you haven't seen the show would mess things up for you, but you know what? You have the option of like waiting to watch this video, so you're warned now. But before we get started with that, let me talk about the snack of the day. This is the snack of the day. This is ginger cracker biscuit de gingembre. I guess that's the Spanish translation, but it's a Korean snack. You can see the Korean right there, and it's by the company Wang, and I bought this at our local Asian market. It has this like coating, kind of like how Frosted Flakes has that like sugar lump coating on it. You can see kind of how it's smooth until you add that sugar lump coating, and it's a rolled cracker like this. See, it's rolled up, and it has a texture, like the actual cracker itself has a texture very much like fortune cookies, but this sugar, I don't know what you call this, the sugar spread on the outside, that's where all like the flavor is. So it's like fortune cookie on the inside, and then it's got this really sweet, very kind of herbally ginger coating on the outside. And even though it is very herbally, it's not like offensively herbally, because you know how sometimes ginger can be super strong to the point that it almost burns. This doesn't, it's not like that. Definitely it smells like ginger, but it's not so off-putting that you wouldn't be able to finish this. Like I could finish this up if I wanted to. It's very, very crunchy. It's crunchy and it's crumbly, but it's good. I like it. So yeah, here we go. But anyway, let's talk about our drama She Was Pretty. So it's got the two actors from Heal Me, Kill Me. I wrote down their names here. Park So-joon and Hwang Junim. Yes. So those are the two actor and actresses from Heal Me, Kill Me that were brother and sister in that show and are now the two leads here. One of the things that I really appreciated about this show, and right away it established it, they made the lead woman, because she was pretty, I guess she had to be unpretty to start with, they didn't make her unrealistically unpretty. Like, yes, her hair was kind of a mess, but her hair is like in the same haircut it was in Kill Me, Heal Me, where she was considered attractive. It's just that the hair texture was a bit different. And her skin, it wasn't like she had big pimples everywhere. She had a case of rosacea. But other than that, she just looked like a woman who doesn't wear makeup because she's busy trying to catch these jobs. Her clothes weren't like dirty clothes or anything. Her clothes were kind of old, but she didn't have really great employment history, so it makes sense that she wouldn't be able to buy designer clothes. But it wasn't like she was dressing like a clown on purpose. She really was just kind of wearing older clothes, like she couldn't afford to buy new stuff. But I really appreciated that they didn't try to make her look so unfortunate that it would be miraculous that this woman could be made beautiful, because she really didn't look that bad to me. She just looked like somebody who kind of gave up on believing that they could be beautiful. And so I really appreciated that out of this show, number one. Number two, the lead male. In the beginning, you like him because he's very sensitive. Then he does some things that you're kind of like, what an asshole. Then you kind of hear a conversation he has with somebody else, and you realize, well, maybe he's not so much of an asshole as he's just trying to generate a response in the people he's talking to. But I mean, I could definitely see if you hadn't been privy to this other conversation, you'd be thinking, what an asshole, because he's like really, really bad. But I liked him so far, so I'm good, because there's a lot of times in Korean dramas where from the start I hate the male lead. I'm about to sneeze, y'all, in a second. No, I'm not gonna sneeze. I really thought I was ready for it. It didn't come out. Anyway, there's a lot of time in Korean dramas where I hate the male lead from the start. I could not even finish Boys Over Flowers because I hated Lee Min-ho so much. But this time, the male lead, I could tolerate. It was alright. I could kind of see where his attitude came from, and it worked out for me. Other thing I really loved about this drama is the second lead female. so many times when you're dealing with dramas having to do with appearances, there's always like the not attractive female lead, and then the second female lead who is super attractive but is like ultra bitchy or is doubly dumb, and that's not the case. In fact, the second female lead and the first female lead are best friends / roommates, and their relationship is so adorable. They call each other husband and wife. But she's smart, and she is like realistically kind to her friend. Like, she doesn't like tell her friend, oh girl, you look good just the way you are. No, when her friend was going to go on a date, she's like, here, take some of my lipstick, girl, touch yourself up. But she also is like, you are valuable. Don't ever tell yourself that you're not. You're just fine, and any man who goes with you should be glad to have you. So I was like, yes, girl, sisterhood. So I really like that about the drama. And then the other thing that I liked about the drama is something that I think was eye-opening for me, because I guess I just never considered this. The lead female ate sushi with a fork. And I know that seems like that's no real big revelation, but how often in dramas set in Korea do you see people using forks? You just don't see it very often. So those are all things I loved about the drama to start with for these first 2 episodes. Storyline wise, I think I enjoyed the scenes with them as kids more than I enjoyed the interactions between the 2 leads as adults. Number one, because when they were kids, you can just see how easy their relationship was, how unforced everything was, how there was really no tension. The little boy was so cute because he's so round and chunky monkey, and she's like just really thin and got these big eyes, and you could just tell she's like really tender towards him. And the little thing where they shared the song on the little Walkman headphones, like, oh, babies. But yeah, I really enjoyed the flashback moments of the show and how it explained a lot of things that were happening in current times. I'm only worried that this show will get a little too flashback heavy, because there was a lot of flashbacks. I'm hoping that maybe as the show progresses, there will be a few less of those. But the flashbacks really did... They mentioned a puzzle in this story, and the flashbacks were like missing puzzle pieces. And that's why I enjoyed them, because there were things that were happening that unless you were to do the flashback, there's no way you would get the symbolic resonance of the moment. So definitely that worked. Things I didn't like about the show. That old lady, I don't know what her name is, the one who returned from Italy, but yeah, what a fucking bitch. When she pulls Hyjin in front of everybody on the magazine staff and is like, ugh, I can't even be around people as ugly as you. It throws me off. Somebody should put you somewhere away from me because you're just too ugly for me. The fuck? Like, seriously, that would be the day that I lost my job. That would be the day that I would curse her out, grab my purse, and you wouldn't see me again on that job. Like, seriously. Who do you think you are? But yeah, I wasn't too happy with that little moment there. There's a girl who I guess is going to be the villainess of this show. Even though you think this old woman with her tacky manners would be the villainess. No, the villainess of the show is going to be this other girl who works in the office who is trying to land a rich husband, which apparently that's what all the girls in the office are trying to do. She's trying to land a rich husband. She finds out that an heir to the Jisung Corporation is working in their office, and she's trying to find out who it is so she can make him fall in love with her, and then she won't have to work for a living. And apparently she is used to people treating her kindly about her looks, and she's very proud of her looks. And anytime she's compared to Heejin, or any opportunity where the two are kind of in any kind of comparison or side-by-side role, she's quick to be like, me against that hag over there? Ugh. Those are the kind of female characters that I normally typically hate. And so as of right now, I don't like this bitch. But it could change. You know, we'll see what happens as this show progresses. But right now, she can walk off of a short pier. I don't like her. But yeah, those are things I kind of don't like. And the other thing, I was like shocked and amazed that was said in this drama. Not because it surprised me, but more like, I wonder if this is how people really feel. When Heejin gets the job at the company that has most magazines, she first gets a job in managerial support, and she had a job interview to join this company, and during her interview wasn't that great. They asked her, about the university she graduated from, and it's like a no-name university. They asked her about her job history and why she had so many jobs that ended quickly, and the story she was telling about these jobs, it like sounded like things were going horrible for her, like she had bad luck. So when she gets this job with managerial support, it's considered a great job, and she wonders, why did I get this job? Like, what is it about me that made you take a chance on me? He says to her, well, number one, you're ugly, so you're not going to have a bunch of men calling you because who's going to want to call you? Jaw-dropping, like, really? Really? That's what we're saying to people? Then it was, and also because you had terrible work history, so you're probably grateful to get this job and do whatever the hell I tell you to do. You're probably never going to quit. Again, really? That's so rude. But maybe people really feel that way. I know from just work experience, because I'm a grown up, like I told you guys. I've worked jobs where, like, I knew women who let their personal lives get in the way of them doing work. But I've also worked jobs where men did the same thing too. But yeah, there are times when people are so worried about this man or this woman that they're dating that it kind of clouds their work history. And I've had moments like that myself where, like, maybe I broke up with somebody and I was like really emotional for a couple of days and I couldn't pay attention to anything because I was like crying my eyes out. But yeah, I was just really surprised at how, like, bold he was. And, like, everybody was, like, shaking their head like, yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm, sure is. I was like, okay, I guess. But yeah, Heejin, I keep saying her name wrong, I'm sorry. Heejin, she's a really hard worker. And that's the whole reason why she ends up in kind of the predicament she's in, because she was supposed to work in managerial support. Somehow or another, she managed to get roped into doing this proofreading for the Most magazine staff. And because she's doing that, they realize, like, that she's really talented at doing this, and they go ahead and they give her a position up there. It's a temporary position, but still she gets a position up there. And if it wasn't for the fact that she was working so hard, that probably would never happen. Because honestly, if I work in one department and I go to a second department and they ask me to do something and I'm already off the clock, I would probably speak up and say, hey, I would love to do this for you, but I'm off the clock. Is there any way for me to clock back in so I can get paid for this time? She doesn't do that. Instead, she just goes right to work for these people. And I'm just like, what the hell? Why? Why are you... I mean, yes, it led to her getting a better position, so I guess, the moral of the story is work hard and hopefully you'll be rewarded. But, there have been many times as an adult where I've worked hard and I didn't get any reward for it. Where people take advantage of your kindness because they see you working these extra hours, they assume you'll do it, and then they have no problem kind of putting you in positions where you have to either work extra hours or take on extra duties, and they don't acknowledge that you're doing something outside the scope of your job because you don't say anything. So really, my tip for anybody with a job is, if you're asked to do extra, always acknowledge that you are doing extra. Not to the point where you're obnoxious, like, well, this is outside of what I normally do. But if you're asked to stay longer and you're paid hourly, don't be afraid to ask if you can clock back in if you're going to be doing something that takes more than 15 minutes. That's not unreasonable. If you're going to be asked to stay an extra hour to do something, it's not wrong to say, can I get paid for this extra hour? Because your time is valuable. You get one lifetime, so you have finite hours to spend on this lifetime. You can't just be giving them out willy-nilly. Again, if you're doing extra work for a department or whatever, don't be afraid to say, hey, I really am glad to be helping you out, but I've got things in my own department I kind of need to concentrate on. Is it that you want me to maybe find somebody to do this work that I do in my own department and focus on your department? Did you want to move me over there? Like, how do you want to do this? But don't ever sell yourself short when it comes to your time, because your time really is very valuable. But yeah, those are some things about workplace life that I was very surprised about. But in terms of the story itself so far, the story itself is a very typical rom-com scenario, as Beauty and the Beast and then reversed. Very Cyrano de Bergerac in that she tells Hadi to meet Sungjun in her place because she's ashamed of the way she looks. And she feeds her lines to help her in this fake date that they have together. So that's very traditional romantic comedy material. Then, thinking that you love somebody and then thinking you see their true personality, and then that turning into kind of hate, and I need to prove that, you're not better than me, which later on is going to turn into, oh, we had a misunderstanding, we're really in love. I'm sure that's what it's going to turn into because that's the way these romantic comedies work. So that kind of stuff. The whole Pygmalion aspect of turning a woman who's unattractive into an attractive woman. That's going to happen eventually. We know, because that's the whole point of the story. So that's going to go on, and of course we're going to be like, oh, well, you know, of course it had to happen. I think the only thing that's going to disappoint me, and I haven't gotten farther than the first 2 episodes, but what would really disappoint me going forward is if he only starts to fall for her after she gets pretty. Now, I don't mind if she gets pretty and he still is kind of like, okay, well, you're pretty now, but your job performance sucks. If he's like that and he doesn't get it, that's one thing. But if he changes his entire mind about her based on her getting more attractive, I might not be able to finish this series, because I feel like part of what made him fall in love with her when they first were little kids, 15-year-olds, was the fact that she saw past his looks to see what a genuine person he is. So I would really like for the romantic turn or twist of fate to start before the big makeover reveal. That way I can feel like he's returning some of that goodwill that she extended to him when they were younger. So that's what I'm waiting to see. But, you know, time will tell. Time will tell. You never know. But anyway, that's all I have to say about She Was Pretty, and I've talked for a long time, so all I have to say is quite a bit. But 16 minutes for over 2 hours of show, I think that's a pretty good breakdown. I really do. But let me know what you guys thought about the show, things you liked, things you didn't like, things that maybe I talked about that you didn't understand. And, you know, we'll just get into it, and we'll talk about kind of your thoughts and opinions when we go into next week's review, and just keep going from there. Also, I'm going to talk about, because it's the first time, really briefly, I'm going to do a side video for that. It's going to be a link in the description box, but I'm just going to ask a couple of questions because I watched the first episode of Because It's the First Time, which is Minho from SHINee's new drama, and I have to ask if this is something that typically goes on in life. So if you want to know what my question is, check out the second video and we'll get into it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for being a part of the drama club. I'll talk with you guys later. Bye.